Hey, Status D, please like and subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon. Click on subscribe. It's 100% free. Blood in, blood out. Anyway, I got a new phone. S27 Ultra. All is good, all is better. The quality, through the roof. Anyway, so they've got a gentleman here, no friends, no family, based in the UK. He feels left behind in life. Let's see. Oops. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to discuss a lack of accomplishment, a lack of moving forward with your life, a lack of fulfilling any ambitions or dreams you might have had. In regards to my current state of depression, anxiety, and general restlessness and irritability, which I really suffer from, I think a lot of it comes from past regret, lack of things that I followed through with in my life, constantly giving up on things.
You know what? He makes a very strong point there. He makes a very strong point. There's a lot of people that I meet, and there's a lot of people I hear, not this gentleman in particular, but a lot of people. I think they feel, if you look at the title, being left behind in life, I think they feel left behind in life, especially with the cost of living getting ever higher. And it's like, okay, I think I'm meant to be able to afford this thing. You know what I mean? So I think, in long story short, and I don't want to oversimplify, but in a lot of the cases, this is what I encounter, and I'm not talking about everybody. I think that people just need to be able to have a roadmap about where they are now in their life in general, in terms of their earning potential, in terms of how happy they are in the job and job security and all these other things, and all the other things other than money and work that they should and do prioritise, and just have a very firm plan and target about what they're going to do and how they're going to go about doing it. In particular, in relation to financially being left behind. And I think this gentleman really means in terms of like relationships and things like that. But I do other videos giving relationship advice. I might give a little bit of advice later. Don't know. Yeah, in terms of careers, I see so many people over the years, especially at school, who were very talented indeed. And as I say, for what reason, one reason or another, that kind of sliding doors kind of moments, we are on those kind of different paths. And I think for a lot of working class people, one of those paths was not basically just optimizing your academic achievements whilst you're going through school and college. So anybody watching this, and I'm not talking about this gentleman here, but I don't know his story. But anybody watching this, please have that focus, no matter what age you are, or you might have other people coming through. Just keep reminding them, you know what I mean, that what they do at school and college does count. Not everybody's going to be academic, but whatever they're going to go into, then just go into it 100% and do the best. And those results do matter.
Although I think I've done quite a lot in my life, I can't help but feel like I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the same pattern. And although I've travelled the world and I've seen everything from Brazil to China to Indonesia, I've been to all these places and experienced a lot of things in my life, I still feel like my life is lacking and missing a lot. One of the main things is, I'm 37 years old now, I don't have any friends at all to speak of, not one single friend. And I used to have friends.
Let's go on from that. He's going to elaborate on the situation with his friends. I used to make a similar type of problem to what I think he's going to describe a little bit later, if I recall. In as much as I had a set of friends that I grew up with from school, and I was very protective of those friends, and I never really allowed anybody else in, and I never really followed through in any other friendships other than those chosen friendships. But in his situation, as was in my situation, his friends have moved on. He needs to move on as well and just kind of put himself out there in order to have more friends. Definitely. Honestly, I've done it. Just to round off that story now, I was about 22, 23 when I came to London. I was living with my best friend. He was in a long-term relationship with his partner at the time. I had to go out on my own, and eventually I just made more friends, but it wasn't a comfortable journey, as you can imagine, a 23-year-old in London, not really knowing anybody, but you just keep putting yourself out there, you keep rolling the dice, and you can do it. You can make more friends. Between then and now, there's so many things online you can kind of join, with the meetup groups. So I'm in London, so I'm aware of the social events here, but whatever you want to do, Mr. Google or Mrs. Google, you type in what you want to find and you will find it. Even if it's a case of you have to travel, then I guess that's what you got to do. You might even have to move. Who knows? If that's what you got to do, it's about your priorities. But brother, you can definitely do it.
You know, when I was younger, I used to have friends, and throughout the years, throughout all my traveling and all this stuff, I've met people, and people have just came and went, and the good friends that I had here back at home, they just all disappeared, got their own families, and they all have children and wives and all this, and I find myself just back home in the house that I grew up in. I've been in this house since I was a little baby, basically. I'm stuck here where I was born, in the same house, 37, alone, no children, no wife, and everyone around me seems to have moved on with their life, and I'm stuck here, like in a never-ending Groundhog Day repeated cycle of nothingness. And I think that takes a huge toll on my mental health. It's almost as if I'm trapped. I'm restless. I'm so...
Again, so I'm not going to keep on stopping it. But basically what he's saying is that he's taking no accountability. He's taking nothing. There's nothing there about him taking an active role. I've put myself out there. Look at, you know what I mean? I've been on tip top of my appeal. I know what I need I know what I need to do in order to meet somebody. He will look after his mental health, look after self first in order to meet somebody else. Because I've seen the rest of the video. But also he needs to look after his looks to be on the tip top. Not expecting somebody else to kind of, just accept him for who he is. We are men. We need to be enticing somebody else. We need to be kind of interested in somebody else. So we are playing on their rules initially, however we want to see it. We're trying to chat them up. They're not chatting us up, brother. Not even me. You need to be on your tippity top. I know you're in your bedroom at the moment. Look at your situation again. Fix self. Just do the basics. Fix your looks when you go out, so you're on your tip top, and you probably will do. And then make sure you're just out there and sociable all the time, where it's possible to meet people who've got similar interests to yourself. You will be flying, my brother. You'll be flying.
irritable, like, why hasn't my life moved forward? Why am I stuck like this? Why am I unable to find love or somebody that loves me for who I am? Something...
Again. Listen, okay, let's flip this right. It's just said somebody who will love him for who he is. Say if you meet somebody and she happens to be, I don't know, she just belches when she eats. Just something really silly. But say if she does, what do you mean? She's meant to just kind of think that somebody's going to put up with it? Geezer, you need to be on your top. You need to kind of self-reflect. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's necessarily anything wrong with you, but it's the wrong approach that somebody else is going to accept you for where you are. You know what I mean? So you need to have that bit of self-reflection. Just make sure that who you are, or the company that you give to others, the company that you are to others, you know what I mean, is kind of tippity top and not unreasonable. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it is, but usually there's a fatal flaw there somewhere, and it will take a little bit of self-reflection in order to find it. I have been there myself. I struggled for years trying to find a relationship. I didn't have a relationship until, my late 20s, and that wasn't because I didn't want to have it, but I just didn't really see the code. I didn't know what I was doing wrong until I did. You know what I mean? So, brother, you need to have that self-reflection. Go online, look at my videos, look at other videos, and I'll give you some tips and give you some things to think about. Change it up, because if nothing changes, nothing will change.
Something about eternal love, or finding someone who would want to spend their life with you and all this. I've never found it, and I guess that's another reason, I think everyone out there needs love. They need to love and be loved and feel wanted, or feel like somebody at least cares about you, And I think when you don't have that, it makes you kind of feel empty in a way. Kind of empty and lost, and you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing. You feel like your life doesn't have a purpose. And I think as soon as you feel like your life doesn't have a purpose, or you're not useful to anyone or anything, of course you're going to feel down about that. Who wouldn't? It really takes its toll on you.
Again, listen, you also need to know that I've sped this up to 1.5 times speed. So, and his normal pace of speaking is quite low. So he's actually very depressed. And he did mention that he suffers from depression and anxiety a little bit earlier. But to answer his question, yeah, definitely, we can all understand. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be loved, and to find love and give love and receive love. But also, you got to be able to enable that to happen. And it's not gonna help him to pretend that if it's not working at the moment, that he doesn't have to do anything and it's just going to work itself out. You know what I mean? That would definitely be a disservice. So please, brother, fix yourself first. Get your confidence right. Get your health right. Honestly, go to the gym or just to make sure you're doing your cardio. Healthy body, healthy brain, healthy mind, healthy soul. You know what I mean? Or you just put that energy out into the world and you'll have that confidence. You will not be as depressed, that's for sure. That's for sure, because the endorphins is just a biological, it's a biological fact that your endorphins will be firing and you feel more confidence from health. Put that work in, my brother, then go out into the market and just get out there, be sociable, put that smile on and enjoy yourself doing things that you enjoy doing. So you need to hopefully, ideally, find groups where you like to do stuff and women like to do stuff, and then you can meet each other and you've got those things in common and make it roll from there. Otherwise, it'll just be some kind of singles night where the thing you've got in common is that you're both single, then you crack on.
And I think that's where I am now. I just feel like that every day. You know, nobody to talk to, nobody to cheer me up, nobody to have a laugh with or anything. Nobody to hug, nobody to cuddle, nobody to feel any sort of warmth with or anything. It's just a never-ending cycle of loneliness and stuck in my own thoughts, dealing with anxiety symptoms or fear, worry, money worries, of course. I don't have a job. You know, all these things.
Just a second, he said anxiety. Obviously, anxiety is going to be a major contributor because you need to put yourself out there as a man in order to kind of find love most of the time. Unless you, the geezer, otherwise you've got to do online. But you've got to be proactive. You've got to be proactive, and I say maybe you need to travel, you know, to meet that person who shows you that bit of interest, and you need to be
Who's going to love you if you don't have a job?
paying for subscriptions and things like that. If you're not working, maybe you're not in a position where you can do it right now. And if you're kind of mentally not where you need to be, again, maybe you're not in a position to, take on somebody else right now who's not broken. I mean, that's not going to work out. So those are two good reasons why you need to focus on self, fixing self and putting yourself in the best position, like mentally and physically. Get your money right. Yeah, of course. I mean, she ain't going to take you out on a first date, most of the time, like realistically. You know what I mean? So again, put all these things in a row that you need to be there in order to really have a chance. Or just do those social groups and you never know. You can win them over a bit of personality and that confidence and those kind of things in common. But other than that, advice is advised.
Um, most women, I think most women out there look for security first and foremost before they even care about anything else. And they want a man that is got a good job and earn good money or can provide for the family or whatever. I don't have any of that either. I used to be an engineer. I used to earn a lot of money, and I basically.
Okay, you made 2 points then, that women look for security and that it used to be an engineer. Now, he'll say in a minute that he spent the little bit of money that he had from being an engineer on holidays. Okay, so that's why he doesn't have that money now in order to date. You know what I mean? So it's about planning ahead again. Just planning ahead. Just don't blow it all in one thing. Just kind of a bit of forward planning definitely would have helped him. Also, and in terms of security, I think that women are rightly cautious in terms of a long-term future partner, that partner is in a position of stability. That again, that's mental, physical, financial stability. I mean, they are the people who raise the children, and they need a stable environment in order for that to happen. So we go into the kind of the biology of things, the innate biology of things, and she's not wrong. Fix self, my brother. Fix self first. Move on from there when you're ready.
Squandered all that money on traveling and seeing things in the world, and I didn't save anything. I didn't put anything aside for times like this. So I did kind of live the life of the here and now rather than plan for the future. And a lot of the bad things that are going on in my life now could have been prevented if I had been more sensible and done things differently when I was younger, but I didn't. So it's too late to go back and change anything now. And yeah.
Again, listen, this is a recurrent theme. He says it's too late. What's too late? What's too late? He's in his 30s. So listen, he needs to look at his situation. He needs to speak to an employment coach. He needs to be realistic and research jobs that he wants to do so that he can stick with it. You know what I mean? And think about where he is mentally as well in terms of what he can take on. But if he can be doing any small steps in the direction that he wants to go to. That will help. And until then, if at the end of the day he's not ready for it, then you can't lose something that you never had, or you can't lose something that you can't have. But you got to kind of work in order to get there, and just work hard to get there, my brother. You'll be absolutely fine.
Of course, if we could go back in time, a lot of people would probably do many things differently. But at the same time, I got to see the world. I got to see a lot of things. I got to experience different cultures and different people and all these things. But at the same time, I left myself maybe worn out, and I sacrificed my security financially and all that for all them things. And, I don't know what's right and what's wrong, but I've left myself in a precarious situation now because
What's definitely wrong is taking a bad financial decision, my brother. Going on a holiday when you can't afford it, or spending off your savings that you might well have needed for a rainy day. Yeah, definitely bad. Definitely bad. But what's almost worse is that you're not taking ownership of it. So yeah, this is where I'm at. You listen, you can't afford, you never could afford that type of life. And I've seen this a million times. That's why I'm being so kind of blunt about it, or so direct about it. You could never afford that life, okay, on your earnings, but you live that life, and now that money's run out. Don't aspire to that level until you get to that level. Obviously, that is the debt level. That is beyond your means level. You know what I mean? So work towards it. You can do it potentially, or you got to be realistic. And if say you're not working at the moment, and say if you can do something a couple of hours a week, and then part time, and then full time, what you can afford scales with that, and eventually you can get there. But if you're not there now, brother, you need to be realistic about what you can do and plan for that. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to reinforce this cycle of depression because you want to be there, but realistically, you're here. We've all been there.
in my current state, I don't feel really fit to work. And that's the honest truth. I feel like I'm far too unstable to hold down any sort of job now. Everything in my life now is really unstable. I can't sleep properly. My sleeping pattern is all over the place. I'm constantly having anxiety symptoms and a lack of motivation, a lack of care for anything. I know if I had a job now, right, I wouldn't care less about it. I wouldn't even care less about waking up for it in the morning and getting there on time, listening to what a boss has got to tell me, carrying out the task with any sort of competency. I wouldn't care. You know, when you don't care about anything, and I mean anything, you don't care about life itself.
Another thing I need to point out is this video was actually made 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it's 2020. It's October 2024 now. This video, I mean, in his video, was made obviously October, not just October 2021. At some point 3 years ago, between 3 and 4 years ago, basically, lockdown, COVID. We were all indoors. You know what I mean? So he is describing symptoms of long COVID. So that may well be it. Keep it back in mind.
Very hard to get motivated about a job, or anything for that matter. And it sounds like somebody feeling sorry for themselves, like, oh god, this guy just feeling sorry for himself, and you know, get up off your ass, get a job, sort yourself out. I don't know, it's not as easy as that. I've got this mental block that's just like takes over everything. And even if you do have ambitions and wants and needs and want to do things, on the other side of the coin, you don't care about doing anything or want to do anything. It's like a never-ending cycle of hell. It's very weird and strange to explain, but when you live it, you'd understand it. I was wondering if anyone else out there feels like this, you know. I guess this sort of being stuck thing didn't really affect me as much when I was younger, because I felt like, I'm just young, you know. I'm stuck now, but whatever. I've got all my life sorted out. But now I'm 37, and I'm still stuck. I'm still frozen in time. Nothing in my life has moved forward and moved on. I just look around and I see everyone else seems like they've got happy families, and
nothing in his life has moved forward. He's an engineer. He's an engineer. Yeah, he's not in the right place, kind of either physically or mentally at the moment, but he will be. Yeah, in terms of relationships and in terms of marriage and things like that, there's how many millions of people in the world? We're in the UK. For goodness sake, I'm in London, he's in Scotland. You know, we've got online dating, in-person dating. Listen, he needs to kind of, basically he needs to make an effort. He needs to make more effort. And if that's not enough, then he needs to stick with it and make even more effort. That's what you got to do, brother. But fix self first. You're an engineer. You have achieved. I already know what you've achieved. A little bit what you've achieved. And it's massive. An engineer. Brother, you can fly. Just focus on those small steps, manageable steps that you can take on. You'll be fine.
All these things going on, and then there's me just stuck sitting in my bedroom alone every day with nobody to talk to and nobody to love or anything. And it's it's almost soul destroying, actually. And it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. Why does nobody like me? Why does nobody love me? Why does nobody want to spend their life with me? Why does no one want to be my friend? Um, I don't know. I don't know the reasons. But it certainly doesn't feel good. It doesn't make a person feel happy, that's for sure. Yeah, being stuck like this, I was wondering if there's anybody else out there that feels like this. Especially people that are getting on in age. Like when you start hitting like your late 30s and stuff, like me, 37.
There's plenty of people that feel like that, brother. As I said, I felt like that in my 20s, let alone my 30s. You know what I mean? But you just come through it and I say you just got to stay active. You got to stay active and don't put this unrealistic pressure on you either, that you've got to be in that box. You're 37 years old, man. There's no body clock. You could meet somebody in the next 20 years. Hopefully it won't take 20 years. That means you've got to fix yourself first. Probably get a job together first as well, no matter what it is, just for your money, but also your confidence. Just keep putting yourself out there either way, brother. Just keep building up your confidence and your social circle and taking a chance. You got to take a chance. But that involves you too. That's one of the things I want to be clear. It's not going to, you can't just sit in your bedroom and think things are going to change. You got to put yourself out there. You know what I mean? And let's say you're 37 years old, so I know you already know this. You just got to accept the reality of the situation. That again, you need to be the most proactive person in the room. You'll be absolutely fine.
It's almost as if you feel more desperate to move on with your life and feel like you're going somewhere. Because you're getting older, you think like, whoa, am I going to get to sort of 57 next, 47 next, 57 next, 67 next and still be in this position? Am I still going to be a nothing, never done anything, never achieved anything, never had a family? Is this me? Is this all I've got to offer the world? My life is going to be over? Then I can look back and think, whoa, I didn't give anything back to this planet. I just sat around in a bedroom feeling constant fear for God knows how many years. Is that all I've got to offer this world? Really? I hope not. I hope that's not the case.
So I want to talk about something.
I was gonna make a suggestion about, there's always passport bros. Passport bros, you know what I mean? Fly to another part of the world, you get a traditional girl, come back. It's not what I've done. I don't know anybody that's done it, but obviously there's lots of advice out there. But again, in terms of realistically, and I don't want to BS this guy, I don't want to BS him. He needs to fix self first, because in terms of being good company for his future wife, future partner, he needs to be good company. He's not going to do that from the kind of the sad place that he's in right now, kind of mentally. So again, has to be this way. Fix self first before you include somebody else. They're not going to be his nurse or something like that. You know what I mean? Fix self first. Move on from there. You'll be absolutely fine. There's a lot of thoughts that I've got on this that I haven't expressed in this video. Obviously, I want to keep it below. Obviously, now it's nearly 23, 24 minutes. If anybody else has any advice for that gentleman, his channel is at the beginning of the video in the top left-hand corner. Feel free to put it there or put it in the comments here. It may help somebody else who watches this video and has got some constructive advice for him. And that's all we can do. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. That is Steve out.